got to be said, I hate technology. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Fantastic. Hello, everybody. I'm Russ Kane, what's left of him, and this is Men's Radio Station with one of my favourite shows, I have to say, the entire week, the ABC of CBD, with the extraordinary powerhouse, the force of nature, the force of CBD oil, that is Ollie Mammon. This is week 24?
Yeah, episode 24.
Unbelievable. 24 weeks.
Maybe 25, no, 24, episode 24.
Episode 24.
6 months is insane. Who'd have thought we'd done 6 months?
We're so thrilled, you know. I'm very excited about it. And working with Ollie has been one of my life's joys, to be honest with you. It's just
been so fun, man.
We've had a great... And the people that we've met, all down to Ollie, not down to me at all. It's not my area. So all down to Ollie, the guests he's introduced us to, the stories that we've heard, the education that we've had. Man, it's been brilliant. Anyway, without further ado, let's go over to our real host, Oliver Mammon.
It's a very special episode for me today because it's actually my birthday.
No way!
Yeah, which is incredible that the show falls on my birthday. I kind of love it. We got Christmas. We got Christmas, which we got Christmas Eve, which was incredible. Cheers. We got Christmas Eve, which was incredible. Now we got my birthday. We actually had Russ's birthday as well. If you think about it, Russ's birthday was a show, but we weren't allowed to mention it because
I did tell you at the end.
Like talking.
I don't like talking about it. Oh, that's so sweet.
It's amazing.
Your birthday.
Super excited to be with you guys on my birthday.
Are we all meeting up later at the Ivy and, drinks all right? No, I forgot that. Sorry. I forgot we don't have an actual life.
We're not allowed to do that anymore.
God.
So
no,
my girlfriend was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And I was like, what can we do for my birthday?
Go to the kitchen or go to the living room? That's
she
the
was
choice.
Like, I don't know, if you want to have some friends around. I was like, I really don't want a 10 grand fine. I just don't want it. No, I'm not doing it because I just don't want the 10 grand fine. People are doing it. It's mental.
Yeah, they're mad. They're stupid. They're stupid. They shouldn't be doing it. Sorry.
So
good, because you and I would have had words. Anyway, speaking of words, Russie, you haven't forgot your training. How about words from our sponsor?
Bingo. I'm sure you've heard before that good quality CBD needs to be really, really expensive. This is the new view of CBD. A product created by users for users. A product at an affordable price, available everywhere, at any time, at the simple click of a button. Just CBD and MCT oil. No additives, no preservatives, and no flavor enhancers. It's a simple subscription-based service. The cleanest possible CBD delivered to your door for the lowest possible price. Your product, your rights for the lowest possible price.
You know what? Every week when I watch that, this fantastic ad, I notice a little something different. So the water canister, I don't know what it is, it's all bubbling away in that ad. Don't know if you noticed that. It's great.
What, my beaker?
Dr. Beaker. Oh, is it a big mixing? But I don't know what it is. Anyway,
I've got a mixing beaker.
Anyway, happy birthday, fella. I wish I'd have known. I really would have sent you a card or something.
You gave me a book a few months ago. It's fine. It's fine. I'm also I don't really want presents this year. This whole kind of lockdown has made me realize that I don't actually want anything. And also, to be honest with you, I get to have a party with all of you guys. So I mean, wherever you are, grab a drink, grab a smoke, grab a cigar, whatever your tipple is, and let's enjoy the show together. We can all celebrate together. Everyone, welcome to Ollie Mammon's Men's Radio birthday party. Okay, so today we actually have today we continue our topics. Over the last few weeks, we've discussed bringing cannabinoids to the UK market and bringing extracts here. So we've had George Thomas from Sativa Investments who told us about his farm and what they do, and the multi-layer platform, which is the powerhouse, which is the Sativa Wellness Group. We had Chris Stubbs from Genkana came over, told us about how he produces compliant products in Kentucky and ships them over, and him and Genkana have had a footprint in the UK for the last 5 years, and they're a powerhouse. We actually, a few months ago, we had Quentin from Spectrums Europe, who told us all about how he brought his extract to the UK. We've had loads of stories. I'm sure there are other. Yeah, we had Alex Frey, who's doing the farm on the Isle of Man. Isle of Man, and had loads of like. Yeah, and I'm sure we've had someone else, which I feel really rude. And then last week we had incredibly Ed Hambidge, who was literally awesome, the Irish dude, who was incredible.
Oh.
I mean, literally, Ed, I literally love you. If you're watching this, I just love him. He was incredible. I save the best till last. Incredible, man.
And the only bloke I know. Oh yeah, he was great. And the only bloke I know who actually owns a mountain.
He owns a mountain. I mean, it's incredible.
Go figure. Yeah, do you remember that? They had the mountain that he owned. It was just
I can't wait.
The family owned a mountain. How cool was that? Anyway, there we go.
Him with
fella.
And his cows eating his hemp and everything he's doing, and what he's trying to do in Ireland. And I mean, it's just like we've had some incredible stories of people trying to bring hemp and CBD and extracts and cannabis-based products to the market. And I'm sure over time, as some of these projects become more and more developed, they'll come on and they'll tell us more about what they're doing.
Yes, exciting stuff, and it's wonderful to be right in the vanguard of it. Really exciting. I'm enjoying the ride.
Some really cool people. I don't really understand why these guests keep on deciding to come on my show, but I mean, I keep on getting messages like, "Mate, incredible guests." I'm like, "Yeah, but the guests have to agree to come. You're not kidnapping these people. Everyone's coming on under their own free will. I'm not paying anyone to be here." I'm kind of it's kind of incredible, everyone gives up their time, and every guest who's been on for the 24 episodes that we've had, and Russ and everyone, you've made this incredible. So just as a thank you to a very birthday, emotional. Thank you guys so much for the support and all the guests who've come on, every single one of you. Jamie Bartley, love Bartley, my favorite hemp boy. Basically, just incredible.
It just sounds weird.
This week we're actually joined by someone else. We're joined by a different, call it a different creature in this cannabis market of ours. So there have been loads of careers which have been formed in this new market. So you have the farmer who grows it, you have the infusionologist, the person like me who creates the product, you have retailers, you have wholesalers, you also have brokers. Now, brokers actually play a very crucial part in this marketplace because they're basically who have kept the market competitive. Without brokers, there would be a supply chain which was dominated by farms dictating the price they wanted to pay. And fact of the matter is some farms charge $10,000 a kilo, some farms charge $2,000 a kilo, and the brokers are kind of what keeps everything quite competitive. From what I've seen over the last 5 years, there's been a huge reduction in price. Now, if everyone was working together, this wouldn't happen, which means that there are competitive brokers out there who are trying to seek the most affordable extracts for companies looking to enter and use these extracts in the most affordable ways. Also, it's all about being affordable for the end user. And when a starting compound is $45,000 a kilo, it doesn't give you much wiggle room to create a product which is affordable for an end user when some market values about $2,500 a kilo. So it makes a big value difference in the price. So today we're joined by a guy
I'm going to interrupt because Bernard Claude Mammon.
My dad.
Do you know him? Does that ring a bell?
Dad. What's he saying?
He says, "Happy birthday, son." This is how we communicate these days. So he has to come on the show. Bernard. Is it Bernard or Bernard? How does he refer?
Call him Bernard.
No, that please, Bernard.
I beg you, call him Bernard.
I'm going to call him Mr. Mammon. Mr. Mammon, thank you for letting us borrow your son for the last 24 weeks. And hello to Sandra Brady, watching and listening. Hi, Sandra. Right, over to you, birthday boy.
We're joined today by a guy called Hassan Akhtar. Now, Hassan Akhtar is actually, we were doing some math on the phone. So he's distributed over 5,000 kilos of CBD. Now, the average CBD product has about 1,000 milligrams in it, give or take, which means there's over 5 million products out there which have probably contained CBD, which he's helped distribute. Now, I've tried to be a CBD distributor. When we first started in this industry, me and my business partner, Nathan, we started as CBD distributors. And it is the biggest pain in the ass job ever. Why? Because you're trying to bring a brand new compound, which is extracted from cannabis, which is completely illegal. Okay. But the compound is not illegal. So that's the number one gray area.
I'd really like you, for the benefit of everybody watching and listening, just go through those last two sentences again, because it's so key to what we're trying to do on Men's Radio Station?
So let's say 5 years ago. Okay, so 5 years ago we've started bringing CBD extracts over from America. Now, what happens is you're bringing an extract, a compound, which is extracted from a cannabis plant. All right, from a cannabis sativa plant, whether it's a hemp plant or an actual cannabis plant, they're from the same family. So you have an extract which is extracted from this plant, which is completely legal for sale, but the plant from which it's extracted from is not legal for sale. So you have this number one gray area that you're dealing with. So Border Force automatically see, cannabis sativa. Can they automatically think cannabis sativa? But they're thinking of what kids are smoking in the streets. They're not thinking of the Latin name of the actual plant. And what happens is it gets stopped. Now, I can't tell you how many thousands of pounds of products I've had seized or stopped at borders. Now, it's okay when it's your product, but when you're trying to bring in an extract to distribute to a client who's needing this product to manufacture another round of products to sell to their clients, and it basically keeps the chain going, which therefore enables patients and end users to get the products which they actually rely on, it all becomes a little bit more important to make sure that the system runs smoothly. Now, I found it very difficult to play this distributor game because of the amount of hoops you had to jump through and the amount of different ticks you've got to get. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to tell you a little story. I'm going to bring out our guest before I tell the story, but I just want to say, I've tried to be a distributor. It's very hard work. So, like a broker of cannabinoids, it's very hard work. So I just have to take my hat off to him because he's done something very good. He's been around for the last 5 years. And like I said, 5 million people wouldn't have had their products if it wasn't for Hassan. So let's bring him out. What's up?
Hey, Ollie.
That's a great introduction, though.
Yeah?
That was a good introduction.
Amazing.
Yeah.
As long as I'm next to you, it's all okay, mate.
Good. I just want to make sure you feel chuffed. I've given you a drum roll there to kind of come in.
You know what? We should make you feel chuffed. It's your birthday today.
Yes,
precisely so. Precisely, it's his birthday.
Sing for me. Sing. Sing me a song.
Never going to happen. Hassan,
I won't force you to sing.
Hassan, I'm a little bit worried, and I'll tell you for why. Because you're dressed up in your very groovy coat, which looks like if you're not happy, you're going to be out the door in about 2 seconds.
But do you know something? We've got one big problem at the moment. We've got no heating on. I'm actually at the office. Yeah, we're doing some works here, and again, this is all a part of one of our medical applications and the transformation of distribution sites and everything else. So we're undergoing all of that, and unfortunately, there's no heating here. And Ollie was absolutely insisting on making sure that it was dead quiet, and I didn't want to have any screaming kids or anything around. So here I am. I thought I was making a good sacrifice for you, Russell.
I'll be honest with you.
I think it's very noble.
Have it any other way.
Very noble. Thank you.
Just doing my bit for you.
Thank you so
well, we
much.
Appreciate it.
That's
The whole of Men's Radio Station appreciates it.
So let's get into this. How did you get into this industry? I always like asking that question first. Gives a bit of background.
To be honest, I think I've always been into health and wellness. It's always been an interest of mine. Being from a sports background, I always liked protein and just basic high street level things. But I always felt there was other plants and other extracts that people could use and get some good benefit from them. And CBD was one of the ones that was, and still is in some degree a taboo subject. So we did find a shop once. It was quite a dodgy shop, and it had some products, and we tried some muscle. It was like a tiger balm, deep heat type of balm, and that worked fantastic on all of our muscle. I was with some fighters, and it worked really well. And I thought that could be something that a lot of people could benefit from. And then I was reintroduced to it by a friend who I used to work in the IT industry, and he was out in California, in Silicon Valley, and it was quite big there. As you're aware, in America, within cannabis and CBD, they're a good few years ahead of Europe and the UK. I mean, Amsterdam,
about 20 years ahead.
Yeah. As you went, Amsterdam, it's known for cannabis, and they're probably one of the first ones to come out with it. But I think from an innovation point of view, I think the Americans have really led the way.
It's not innovation; it's commercialism. And consumerism. So that commercialization of cannabis, the McDonaldization, it's like that franchisable cannabis model. Okay, like how to make money from this. How do we put this into absolutely everything? So when you wake up, it's almost like the high fructose corn syrup model. Is when you wake up, you're having it. When you go to bed, you're having it. The whole day long, you're having it. And Monsanto is making an absolute fortune. Everyone's laughing. It's like incredible. And America is very good at that. They're also very good at saying, yeah, sure, everyone wants CBD in their cornflakes, and everyone wants CBD in their milk, and everyone wants CBD in everything. And America's amazing at that. I do love the Americans. They're incredible.
And it's creating that demand, and the thing is, a lot of people are buying it on repeat basis. So it's obvious that it's affecting them in a positive way. And from my stories that I hear from people, it's giving them a massive quality of life. And that, again, it gives me confidence. Is it a placebo? Some people think it is. There's so many different mixed theories and reviews on it, but there's a massive proportion of people that have benefited from this and continue to benefit from that.
I think it's all about the right product, isn't it? A lot of people don't find the right product.
That's what I think. And it is about it's about understanding the different types of cannabinoids, because it's in its infancy stage still. We've uncovered CBD and THC and obviously now CBG as well, but there's so many more. CBN's amazing for sleep. There's going to be so much more studies coming out, and that's something that we're doing at the moment. A lot of clinical studies, and again, this is all about the pharma stuff and looking at licensing this.
We're going to move on to that in a bit. I want to move on to that because I want to build up to that. So I've got a few more quick questions to ask.
Okay.
So like you said that you're a boxer, okay, and that's what your background was, and you kind of came into this from a sporting perspective. You actually used products and you felt a benefit from it. Have you found that you almost having because CBD has actually helped you, have you found that's almost directed you because you're a broker? So the whole point is people buying your product are buying, your extracts, they're buying it to make products. Has that kind of directed you because the first product you used worked? Has that kind of made you seek out better suppliers? Has that made you seek out a higher quality? Has that made you go that extra step as opposed to just a dude who sees a margin 5,500, I can sell it for 5,750. I can lock in 100 kilos and let's get the deal trades up. Do you know what I mean? Have you found that maybe there's a psychology behind it because you've suffered? And I assume, being a boxer, you have boxer mates who probably use CBD products anyway and other cannabinoid-based products for recovery, right?
Yeah, I think that there's a balance there. You've got the business side of it. As I said, we have got a VC fund and all that kind of thing, and they are very much interested in numbers. But to drive a business, you've got to be passionate about it. And personally, something. If you look at my work schedule and how I work around this, it isn't a job to me. It is, but I'm so passionate about this industry, and when you listen to the stories, like I said, that drives me. And what else drives me to actually have a quality product and where we do our due diligence is because of the lack of quality and traceability that's been out there that we've had to uncover as well. There's been so many issues, and we've come out with a great solution for that with our Cannex platform. So that's cannexmarkets.com. But it's cheeky little
plug. He said cannexmarkets.com.
Yeah,
check that out for a supply system. It's the cannabinoid supply, right?
Yeah, so it's an online trading platform. It's live prices, but it's backed by blockchain, which gives you full traceability from seed. When it was planted, the circumstances, it's got everything there, all the way right through to extraction for all kinds of extracts, not just isolates, but distillates, even biomass and flour and everything else.
Very cool.
Sorry,
just quick. So you've been in the industry for like 4 or 5 years now?
Yeah, so we set up sort of properly in 2018. That's when we first started off. But prior to that, as a personal thing, it was always interesting to me from like I said, those muscle rubs that we used to use and just doing general research.
No, fair play. Fair play. And what's it called? So like pre-boxing, were you ever, I like asking this question, were you a cannabis user? As in, was that was that also something which attracted you to this world, or did you not come from
No, I'm not really from that. I was quite strict, obviously.
I kind of like that. No, that's good. It's good. It's just a question because a lot of people in this industry do come from that, or they come as a recreational user or something. No, it's just good to know. So it's nice as well that there are athletes and people who have kind of come from that angle.
The thing is, it's not associated with smoking cannabis. With the products that we have. We're trying to even sometimes steer away from that. When we work with certain brands, they don't want that stigma. They don't want the flower leaf on there or anything on their products. And there's so many different ways of using cannabinoids, I call them. It's not even cannabis. It's cannabinoids. And some people, they want a different experience. They don't want to smoke it. They don't want to even eat it. They want to put it on their bodies, and it's so many different ways. It's got to be pleasant for each individual. Okay?
So Hassan, were you any, big question, were you any good as a boxer? I'm just curious.
I was okay. I mean, if I'm honest, I think one thing that made me win a lot is the fact that I had a great defense. So I didn't really get hit a lot, and that always helps in boxing.
Damn right.
I mean, I'm
kidding.
I don't really have anything like typical fighters or anything, but
a lot of fighters though do use CBD. So there was actually a study. There was a study in 2019 which they actually did with the NFL, and they did studies on NFL players who who get tackled, because when you get hit hard, and some of the concussions which these football players get are just it's literally like getting hit by a train.
Will Smith did some movie for that, didn't he? About concussions, where he was a doctor.
Yes, he did.
But I was watching a documentary. I can't remember what the documentary is called now, but it was all about these football players who have been using cannabis. Okay, and they've been using CBD, and what happens is there was this trial where they gave very high doses of CBD to football players right after impacts, and they showed that concussions were less likely to appear. And you had Nate Diaz, who basically said he won't go into a ring unless he's got his vape pen to come out the ring too, because he just knows that unless he starts his recovery straight away, it's not gonna, he's going to be the worse off for it. And I feel like there is an incredible, you could call it, there's an incredible relationship between cannabinoids and sport, which is going to come up in the next few years, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to see their athletes performing, wants to see their favorite athletes performing the best they can perform. Athletes want to perform the best they can perform. Sponsors want athletes to perform the best they can. Now, cannabinoids in general have relatively, sorry to go completely off topic here, but cannabinoids in general have very little signs of actual damage, and a lot of the pharmaceuticals used on these athletes are actually shown to damage them dramatically. And if you can find a nice healthy balance between almost a natural remedy to kind of keep your athletes on their feet, then it should be adopted, and there could be this incredible beautiful relationship if it's done right.
I think there is an educational piece there as well, where again, because it comes from cannabis, it's always frowned upon, and drug agencies and drug testing and the way it is nowadays. Actually, in the last few months, I think the UFC have relaxed their laws on CBD and THC as well.
Yeah, that's it, because that's the balance. In America, they're balancing the THC laws.
Yeah.
In the rest of Europe, THC is still banned, and the problem is there's so many CBD extracts have such minor elements of THC, but if you're taking a lot of CBD, those minor elements can build up. So even if you're taking 0.03%, which is nothing, it'll be 3 milligrams or something, but you're taking, I don't know, a couple of thousand milligrams a week, you'll have, 6 to 8 milligrams in your system. Could that show up on a drug test? Potentially. If they look for it deep enough, it can show up. So as a distributor, how can you guarantee that the products you're distributing to your end users, how do you know? Because you're not the farm producing them. How do you know that, the products are reliable? And it's more of a leading question. I know your products are reliable. I'm not, how can you guarantee to the end users manufacturing that your products are reliable, the extracts are clean, that there are no unwanted cannabinoids, there are no cannabinoids which might give an adverse effect to what an individual is looking for, maybe not physically, but more detrimentally in the long run if tested?
I think prior to COVID, I used to personally visit a number of farms and labs, and visit them and see their factories. But again, you've got to look at things like accreditations. From a lab perspective, you've got ISO, you've got GMP. Some people have got APIs. It depends how high they want to go in compliance. And I think that always is a initial filter for me, and depending on the country. But then you've got to do your own due diligence as well with your own third-party lab tests. This has caused some issues in the past where, it depends which lab you go to. How are they testing your products? The collaboration machines and how it's all done. Again, you've got to make sure you pick the right one out, because they do give you wrong results at times.
It's only as good as their testing measures. Everyone's learning. Everyone's learning.
Mention a lab, if it's okay with you, but I'll say. But
wait, hold on. Are you mentioning it positively or negatively? Because I don't want to get any backlash. I can't be, but it's my birthday. I don't want to get yelled at by someone.
It's his birthday.
Okay, do you know what? We won't mention the name. Okay, there's a well-known leading lab, that is amazing. They're probably number one. Okay, but we had an issue where even they had contamination in the sample that we had sent them, and they had to, again, that was shocking to us, because the customer had tested the product and it wasn't the same. And when we looked into it, we went back to the lab, they had said, listen, we actually had a contamination issue, this is what has happened, and we're sorry. So it was like, you've got to really do your due diligence on that, and we're all humans, and when they're in the lab, they've got to follow protocols, and a lot of people don't do that. So we really do put the onus on high-level labs. And again, just the right documentations. It's like when you buy a car, you want to make sure it's got a logbook and MOT and everything else.
Yeah.
So when you're buying products that are actually alternative medication, we're not even talking about supplements or anything. These people are genuinely medicating for serious illnesses, and it's giving them relief. And that puts a massive onus on us and a responsibility. And that's why when COVID hit, now we've got a great network already, and we were able to adjust that quite quickly. And just touching on something you said earlier, even though it's majority of it is CBD, there's still small trace amounts of product of things like THC left over. And when you're putting it into a massive drum as we do, and it's like 10 kilos or whatever, and when you add it all up, actually it's got higher amounts as a bulk of illegal THC that would, if you making it into one containers. And those were the types of issues we were encountering when we were bringing product in.
So let's go back in time a little bit. Before you guys were established, before you guys were the size of what you were, before them, because here's the thing, one thing I've seen over the last 5 years, the market has matured. So I remember like the first CBD I bought, like I used to make jokes about this. It comes in like a Kilner jar. So it's almost like you're buying like Mama's jam, okay? And
Pickles.
you have this but you have this unsealed Kilner jar which has got a sticker on the front which says the batch number it's in. This wasn't from Hassan, this was from other suppliers. And it's like they would send you a COA which looked like it was just written on Excel, and it's like almost got like the cannabinoids written out which they want you to feel like.
Remind us what a COA is.
A certificate of analysis.
Thank you.
So a certificate of analysis shows the exact percentage breakdown of cannabinoids contained within a cannabinoid extract, and there could be like up to like 50, 60, 70 different like cannabinoids they can actually test for. But most of the time, the average certificate of analysis will have like 6, because like the more in-depth the test, the more expensive the test. The more you want the scientist to look for, the more you want the scientist to prove or disprove, the more time they're going to charge you. And there are only few labs who kind of dominate the market. You've got Phytovista, which is George Thomas's one, which he spoke about on his show. You've got Adax Medical, who are a good testing house. You've got what are they called? My friends, I've just forgotten.
Don't know.
No, I know, and I've forgotten, and she's going to kill me. I've just shouted out everyone else, and she's going to kill me. I'll come back to her. She's going to listen. She's going to kill me.
You're
why
in
didn't you
such
mention
trouble.
me? I'm in trouble. But then like there are a few of these testing houses which are really good. And to be honest with you, why I like them is because they know that they're young as well. So they know it's a young industry. Testing houses are also young, and we're all working together to kind of create the best industry possible. And, you know, like there's always the first thing. If a certificate of analysis doesn't look right, the chances are the rest of the product isn't going to be right. And that's just one piece of advice I can give to everyone. If the document you're given looks at all poor quality, the chances are the extract which is going to follow that piece of paper is going to be poor quality. And, you know, these testing houses, they know that they get given so much garbage, they have to really up their skills, because, you know, it's between the, you know, the brokers. So the growers, the brokers, the manufacturers, and the testers, we're all accountable for the end users. You know, the brands, they rely on us. The retailers, they rely on us. It's like a split. They're like, you know, the wholesalers, retailers, and end users are on one side, and the growers, manufacturers, brokers, and testers are on one side, and they're kind of different sides of the market who work to complement each other, if you know what I mean. Sorry, another little ramble. Do apologize. It's my birthday.
It's okay. We forgive.
Question: did you ever find it was restrictive not owning a farm? Did you ever find that everyone, like especially in the first few years, like everyone claimed to own a farm? Did you not find that quite funny? And you have to play that game of, you know, like we don't own a farm. And
yeah, I mean, again, it's like, you know, we like to be transparent with what we're doing, and that is we work with a number of farms and different labs. You know, so again, as long as you've got your sort of SOPs and how you do your business in the right manner, and you're covered, you know, it didn't really make a difference. It was very much, again, on the lab reports, you know, to justify it is a quality product. And it's not just testing on cannabinoids, you know, there's pesticides and the heavy metals and everything else that comes with it, you know, and solvents, and, you know, and that's where the industry is going now with regulation. You know, you've got novel foods now, and people have got confidence that there's been sufficient amount of tests being done. You know, this makes this look so much smaller now. You know, when you got to put products through stability testing, and, you know, and on every single level, you know, from an actual raw ingredient perspective, you know, you've got a number of tests, but then even from a finished product, you know, the amount of tests that you've got to do for all of that, that's giving retailers confidence as well, so now that they can stock this product. And
there are going to be less of you guys.
Right.
There are going to be less of you suppliers, which is what we're really starting to see. There are less and less and less brokers. If you go back 4 years, 3 years, everyone was a CBD broker. I mean, I was getting phone calls from people like from abroad. Hey, buddy, you want to buy some CBD? I was like, no, I don't want to buy some CBD off you, dude. Like, I got the best CBD. You know, like everyone was a CBD broker. I give you best price. So I was like, all right. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's nice because, you know, like we met Hassan like 3-4 years ago, and it's nice to see that he's kind of, you know, what's it called, maintained his position, if not even grown his position in the marketplace, because he was, you know, he was trying as hard as to be transparent then. It's nice to see that, you know, honesty has prevailed over lies, which is good. You know, it's good to see that he's still prospering.
Yeah, I mean, again, the industry has changed from a competition point of view as well, because, like you said, a lot of brokers, but other brands as well, you know, they're not around anymore. You know, if you look at the marketplace now, and I think it's going to completely change, you know, at the end of the month. That's when it's going to really have a big shakeout. You know, so that's something to look out for. And again, if you look at these programs that came on, you know, BBC, for example, I think they did a program where they randomly tested, you know, several brands from major retailers, and when they looked at the results, you know, there was, in some of them there wasn't even any CBD in there. It was just like hemp seed oil. You know, so I think, so I think there's going to be a massive shakeout, and it's going to give people quality product. I do think that's coming now.
So what have you guys done for novel food?
So we're, again, there's a lot of news coming out soon, but we have done our own application for Leaf Sciences, for white label, and obviously working with other raw material providers that have done their application as well. So we're linking things with the actual main manufacturer.
Good man. Sorry. Okay, I heard an echo.
I was going to say, Hassan, a broader question for you. When I started working with Ollie on these shows, I knew nothing whatsoever about this entire subject. Do you think the public's perception is that it's still a couple of blokes in a shed or a garage producing all of this, as opposed to the really sophisticated, clever, scientific way in which it's approached?
Well, I think if you look at what's going on in the market, let's take London, for example, and the stock exchange. The fact that you're getting CBD companies that are owned by people like David Beckham listing, that sends a massive signal. I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but to me, that is big news.
I think it's incredible. I think it's absolutely. So me and Nathan were joking about it. Me and Nate met someone who knew Beckham maybe 5 years ago. Nathan's my business partner. And we said to each other, as soon as Beckham gets involved, the world changed. The world will change, because what happens is, as soon as you've got someone who's the British blue-eyed boy, our national treasure, if there was a vote for who should be king and queen of the United Kingdom, Victoria Beckham and David Beckham would win by a landslide. I mean, like Kate and Will would
You don't want to start that debate
now. What planet?
Just saying.
Ollie,
they are so loved.
I couldn't think of worse timing to come up with that.
Sure can idea.
Why? Hold on. What have I missed?
Nothing. Just move on. Let's just accept the fact. Let's accept the fact that Beckham coming in is a big deal.
But also, he's backing innovation. So Beckham hasn't come out and been like, look at my novelty brand. I mean, he's gone in and he's backed a company called what's it called? Cellular something. Cellular goods. Cellular tech. Yeah, so it's
telephones. Who knows?
No, but it's some crazy new technology, which is, I think, synthetic-based cannabinoids, but it's a special way of synthesizing. It's a British-based company. It's just really smart. I mean, like, the dude looks incredible. I saw his picture. I read the article. I mean, I'm going to try and hunt him down and get him as a guest. But I mean, the concept looks absolutely unbelievable. Like, I would honestly say it's one to watch. It's one of those companies to watch. I think they're going to do something great, because who's not going to have their eye on that company? Who's not going to want to work with them? Do you know what I mean? You've got a whole pledge of celebrities now getting involved. You've got companies like GW selling for 5.7 billion. You've got hundreds of companies listing on the LSE. You've got, MGC Pharma or MGC Derma just listed. I think they did a huge list. You've got like a George Thomas's company who's listed. There's so many brands. An Israeli vape brand just listed. I don't know what they're called, but there's an Israeli vape brand just listed on the LSE. I mean, it's blowing up. There's something happening.
Yeah, and I think. Yeah, and it's not just David Beckham as well. It's all sorts of athletes now, and they all want CBD brands. It's almost like the thing to do. So I think the end users and the consumers in general and the public are becoming more aware of it and being educated to it. And like I said earlier, I don't feel that taboo is the same as it was, a few years ago.
No, I get that. It's been a huge eye-opener for me working with Ollie on this series. Really has. Extraordinary. Most fascinating, fascinating people.
The market's still small. So we were talking about this. So, I reckon there's probably 1 million active users in the UK. Okay. So probably 1 million people using CBD on a semi-regular to regular basis. Okay. And therefore, there are people who still are probably uneducated as to the wider applications of the product which they're using, but they're using it because, it makes them feel a little bit better as and when they need it. Still only 2% of the population, like 1.5%, like 1.5% of the population. I mean, and at least 30% of the population would benefit from the use of CBD in one way or another. I mean,
if you want to really take it further, I mean, it's not, again, just going to be CBD, then it's the plant itself. For example,
of course.
The benefits of hemp from an environmental perspective, and there's so many different versatile things you can do.
Totally.
Henry Ford built a car, from hemp. Now the way that you've got hempcrete for homes, you've got different types of energy coming out. It's definitely a plant that's got many, many benefits.
Here.
It's a question of scale. It's a question of scale, isn't it? once it can all be scaled up, then these huge yes.
I think it's the opposite. I think it's the opposite. So scale only comes when we want it. So the whole point is I can build anything, but if people don't want it, they won't come. So I think it's more about, so you had people like Lee Durnford, okay, and he said, he goes, why are we not using it? Everyone wants carbon neutral. Why are we not using it? And until they want it, the system's like pointless. Do you understand? Like building.
Do you know something? Do you know what it is, Ollie? Right? I think it was Henry Ford. He said, if I'd asked people what they wanted, he said I would have given them a faster horse. Maybe people actually, if they don't know what's on the other end and it's better, it's about innovation. It's about creating something that isn't already here.
To be honest with you.
It's exciting. Hello.
Sorry about that. Do apologise.
I thought that would be on silent, Ollie.
It is on silent. I've actually turned my phone on to do not disturb. I really am sorry. It's like the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me.
Whatever in the history of the world, I don't think that's
true. It's my birthday. Okay, people are going to call me one day a year.
That's it. But that's the one call he gets a year.
It literally is the one call I get a year. To be honest with you,
I missed it. A phone.
And I
don't even know why he has a phone. The point I was trying to make her son before birthday boy got busy was this. It's about scale, because Lee Durnford works for a huge construction and a planning company. Channel Tunnel was one of their little building efforts. It wasn't like a kitchen extension, and if it can be manufactured in scale, then the price becomes attractive. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, it is about.
I'm talking about building, Ollie. Ollie, I'm talking about the building trade and bricks and insulation and all the rest of it.
Jamie Bartley, though, is going to change the world. All right, my mouth to God's ears. All right, if anyone wants a hemp genius, just back Jamie Bartley, because I'm telling you, like, he's going to There's Jamie and Ed. Do you know what I mean? They're young dudes who are putting their life and soul into making this happen. They are the future of the hemp industry. In 30 years' time, when hemp is established, their names will be on the top of buildings.
And what about our special guest Hassan?
Yeah, but he's a CBD distributor. He already knows where he's going, and he's already very well established.
Just checking. I want Hassan to be felt welcome for two reasons. One is a guest. Two is an ex-boxer. I'm not stupid.
Be smart.
We are moving. Distribution. It's Ollie puts it in an interesting way, but the farmers and the labs don't like to deal with end users who want to buy 1, 2, 5 kilos. What we do is we buy in bulk and we try and keep the price competitive. We don't want, there was, if you listen to what the farmers and the labs used to sell the product for, as it was crazy. That's why there wasn't so much of it around, so we've stopped that, and there's good and bad in all sorts of scenarios, but, we do try and add value. And again, one thing that we're really focused on this year is licensing a cannabinoid drug, and we want to make it prescribable, and we want to have some real studies that show some real value to a particular pain area or an illness or an ailment, whether it's skin based. Again, dermatology is something that's really interesting. We had a burn victim that came to us and used one of our products, and he was an ex-footballer actually, and he'd done a sliding tackle on it was 3G pitch, and he said it was like a 3rd or 4th degree burn. It was to that sort of level.
Wow.
Well, so like tearing the skin off. Jesus, sorry.
Imagine. Don't know if you really want to imagine that.
And there as well, you always get a little bit of dirt on those pictures. Mix it into the wound. For literally throwing salt on the wound.
Literally.
Literally. So your bum helped this dude.
Yeah, we sourced an extract. It was from the Netherlands. It was full spectrum, but it worked wonders for him.
And he just applied the extract on directly, right?
He said he used it 3 times a day, straight onto the wound.
Like a black paste, right?
It was, to be honest, it was watered down with a few. So again, I can't remember the technicalities behind it, but it was a slight watered down version, so we could apply it.
Was it like a darker brown?
No, it was a light brown.
Oh, nice, very nice. Yeah, it's good with things like that. You know, like full spectrums and stuff like that are very good for like burns and things like that, but with as little carrier as possible. You know, like as little carrier as possible. But
what
it's
does
very
carrier mean?
Use the carrier for, but I mean, this wasn't an MCT or a hemp seed mix. You know, it wasn't an ethic product, and that worked well. But again, it had high levels of THC, so we couldn't continue with that product for a number of reasons. But again, I do find higher levels of THC sometimes work really well for certain patients. You know, I know, you know, as you hear in the market, people are self-medicating with really high dosages of THC products, you know, cancer patients and all sorts of people.
So do you, what's it called? Like, do you reckon there'll be any time soon in the future where you'll be able to import and export THC and other controlled cannabinoids?
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're in the process of.
Very cool.
We're undergoing our MHRA licenses, and we'll be moving on to the Home Office license at the end of Q2. This is partly what the site's for, and we've got a lot of work going on here. A lot of temperature control, and that's what they've been doing with our heat. So I've been freezing in here for the last couple of hours. But again, Ollie, it was all for you. I didn't want you to be distracted. You were very, very sure that you did not want any noise.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, we like kids coming in and yelling and shouting. Adds to the atmosphere. I think it'd be all right. So Hassan, just to give us some sort of contextualization, how many people in your organization?
About just over 20 now, but 22.
Very cool.
Wow. So in my mind, that's sizable. I mean, it's not ICI, but I mean it's sizable. 22 people. That's a serious business. And what do most of the 22 people sort of do? How is their jobs allocated?
It varies. I mean, we've got a really good in-house finance manager now. We've got somebody who deals with the legal side. We've got 2 people in logistics. We've got a couple of people on quality assurance. We've got sales guys. We've taken on some marketing people, and now we're looking at students. So this is where I think our team is going to expand in a different direction. Where we're doing PhD studies, and we're sponsoring 2 students in September.
That's fantastic. That is terrific. Bravo.
This is all because of the API. This is all about the active pharmaceutical.
This is about the API and again, the licensing.
We've got about 10 minutes left, so I really want to kind of learn more about this, because this is what I kind of want to move up to. You've kind of set a great foundation. We know that you're the real deal now. Let's talk about this, because like I said, we've got around 12, 13 minutes left. So you're applying for these licenses to handle controlled cannabinoids. You've got this research project you're starting with the university, or you're working with these 2 PhD students. Tell us a little bit about that process, what the aim is, what the process is like, how much it's costing, if you want to share those figures, in general, the process which you're going through to bring a medicine to the people who are hopefully listening. And
so again, with cannabis and cannabinoids, it's something that is new. And when you look into the market in doctors and consultants, and even from an education and academia perspective, it's all quite new. And we did look at doing this project before with another university, but their lack of knowledge on cannabinoids, it just didn't make it practical for us. So we actually ended up working now. Again, I don't know if I should be saying this, but you put me in the spot. So
only do what you're comfortable with, Hassan.
Yeah, I want to share when he said it's for the people to ensure what are we doing to give them a quality product, I have to share it. So the lead professor who led the project at GW Pharmaceuticals, which just sold for £7.5 billion, is actually leading our project. And that's a local based university, and they've got so many papers they've done on a number of cannabinoids, including CBG. So we are now coming up with something on a few diseases. One of them is fibromyalgia. we're looking at, you know, the gut and the relationship the gut has with the brain. And look at these types of things and its nerves and how CBD and other cannabinoids work with that to actually improve your mood from a mental health perspective. And when you look at how the gut affects the mental health, you know, it's quite fascinating. So we're looking at providing a range of cannabinoids to the professor and the students that are obviously from an API factory that can guarantee the same manufacturing processes, you know, from the strain of the plant. You know, it's got to be grown in the same way. The lights, it's, to be honest, it's above my head. That's why I have a great team.
It's about creating consistency and reliability through every step of the process to guarantee the end user an exact replication, an exact sort of genetic an exact genetic isomer of what was previously there or something like that. It's really complicated stuff.
Hassan, a question from one of our listeners, viewers, from Veronica Curran. Hi, Veronica. Do you need I can never get this right. Yes. Do you need a fibromyalgia test dummy?
So we spoke to the university.
She's volunteering.
Find patients, and we wanted patients that were novice to CBD. So and other cannabinoids as well, actually. But there is, I think they're called patient services, where they give you a number of patients, and there's a few different bodies out there that you can gather these patients and do certain tests with. So if you want to sign up with one of them, it's probably the best thing to do. I'm not managing the project from that perspective. I'm leaving that to the university.
Fine, that's incredible.
Okay.
And then, how's it go?
So just to add to that, so again, from a cost perspective, you know, again, like I said, we are backed by a VC, and we have and it's a very expensive project.
How expensive?
Just to do these two students.
Wait, hold on. Let's make this fun. Ferrari, Lamborghini, Bugatti, or that crazy one which costs like £1 million. What's it called? The
Koenigsegg.
There we go. So I mean, like, is it like 60 to 100 grand, 100 to 200, 200 to 5? I mean, like, how much is it costing? I tried to make it more fun. I'm sorry.
I mean,
I screwed up.
Yeah, you were just hinting for your birthday gifts. That's what you were doing.
It depends on how deep you want to go into, you know, studies and what type of clinical study you want to do. You know, obviously rodents and humans and everything else, but realistically, we put a budget of around £2 million aside for this project.
Mental.
And that's not. And by the way, that's not even like the full thing. You know, that's just starting it, and then we're going to probably do another round of funding, which is going to be about £15 million, and that's linked to psychedelics.
It's pharmaceutical money, isn't it? It's how much it costs to create a pharmaceutical product.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, we know a company that spent nearly 500 million on a drug, and it didn't even get licensed. You know, so it's not a joke, but we do have a good team. We know there's benefit in this product. You know, we just got to show some studies, and we've got a great idea. And like I said, the professor is amazing at what he does. And we've got another set of great consultants from the NHS that we're getting guidance from. Again, if you understand how things are licensed and there's specials, and, you know, doctors got to prescribe for treatments that aren't readily available in the NHS in special circumstances. And that's, we're using certain loopholes that are there and available to us. But it's tough, you know.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So you can stop me from out of that 2 million. Out of that 2 million, how much is going to the government? How much is going to the university? How much is going to staff? How much is going on extracts? And how much is going on you building out the network in order to put it all together?
Again, a majority of that is on clinical studies. From a government perspective, we're actually working. Again, this is quite confidential, but we're working with the government. There's a few grant options that we're about to take advantage of.
That's incredible. That's good the government's doing, because I got really scared you're about to drop 1.5 million is going to the government, 250,000 is going to the scientists, 250,000. That's what I was half saying. That's really good the British government is kind of backing it, because that's like very supportive. I like that. Yeah,
I mean, if you look at the amount of support that's going on in healthcare, again, because of COVID, you know, there is that domino effect, and there's so many things that are going on in healthcare now, and innovation. They want to support that, and especially with jobs and what the country's in right now. people need that support, and they want to encourage, research and development, and this is what we're doing.
Incredible. Be so proud of yourself,
exciting.
man.
It's exciting stuff.
It is extraordinary.
Look, it's really not. Like, I'll be honest with you. It's really not bad. You think about it. You're just a dude who started selling CBD extracts. You've built an incredible company around you guys, and now like you're moving into the actual medicinal sector. I mean, it's very impressive. You should be very proud of yourself.
We have a great team. And that's, honestly,
the right people, man.
The right people. It
really is the right people doing it for the right reasons. The fact that you started off as someone who needed a product for a reason at the right time.
You know something, Russell? Absolutely spot on. And it is about timing. And it was just at the right time. And you know what? Your destiny is your destiny. We do what we have to do, and we'll see what happens on the other end. As long as it's good, I think.
There you go.
As long as it's good, as long as you have a good view on it, and it's going to help people, I think things automatically, as long as you're trying, they will help you.
Have you ever heard of something called Maktub?
No.
Maktub, it's like
I thought you say like a Mac 10 or something.
No, so Maktub means like it's been written. Okay, it's been written. It's been predicted. It's like fate. It's like it's meant to happen. Serendipity.
We call it Kismet.
Kismet. Nice.
Of course, Kismet. And you got a musical made out of it, whereas Maktub the musical, I don't think is on the cards.
It could be on the cards. So
I don't think it is.
I've got this question. It's like always my like round off question. Like, what's your driving force, and when will you be happy? As in, like, we all have our ideas in this industry of what we kind of dream of accomplishing. So, like, at what moment will you look back at almost your work and be like, all right, I've done my bit?
I think as long as we can, like, just like provide a quality-driven and customer-focused service, and we really put the message out there that CBD is okay, and that whole taboo thing, and people start readily everywhere using it with no issue, and we start seeing the benefit of that. I think I'd be quite happy with that. The more people that benefit from it, because I know a number of people, when I speak to them, they have certain problems like sleep, or so, like, for example, my mother used to have like I think it's restless leg syndrome. You get like pins and needles in your leg and stuff.
Yep.
And we tried this, and somebody recommended this CBG oil. And after the third night, it was brilliant. She had no issues and slept like a baby.
Because of nerves.
And exactly. And
it's because CBG is very, very good for nerve repair.
Even like joint pain, and when you give them a joint cream, and it's not just CBD, it's other extracts also, by the way. And this is what we're really good at. When you asked about my team earlier, we have a great team of analysts that really look into other on-trend ingredients. And when we were coming up with turmeric and mushrooms now, reishi and lion's mane and the benefits of that. So infusing it all together, it's really wonderful. The remedies that are out there in
of course, and then like cannabinoids and cannabinoids plus, and like you don't even need the controlled cannabinoids sometimes if you want to create something which is uplifting.
Actually, just to add on that, the project that we're doing for the drug is for non-psychotropics only. So there's no CBN, no THC. It's actually a range of CBD, THC, some CBG, and a few other. I don't want to go. And again, it's about the ratio of them also. So that's what we're really focused on right now. And
good man.
Great reports are coming out.
That's really good. I can't wait to see more. Question: as of when that starts, you fancy coming back on the show and giving us a little bit of an update on how that's going?
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, I'm going to start putting out, like, from my company perspective, I want to share these updates. Like, we've always been a bit low key about these things, and again,
I really hope we haven't got you in trouble. That's the main thing.
No, it's all good.
Going to do now. Quickly, Barry J. Allen has just joined us. Flash, I want you to wish with a message, happy birthday to Ollie. It's Ollie's birthday. You've just turned up. There was a cake, there were celebrations. It was all marvellous, but you missed it, sadly. So I just want you to wish happy birthday to Ollie, if you would. Hassan, you've been absolutely a terrific guest.
Yeah, fantastic, man.
Fantastic guest.
Thank you so much for coming.
You've been a fantastic host.
No. I just sit along.
He froze himself for us. He literally went full on frozen. That's so cute. I mean, I love that. I love that he was sat in a freezing office to do this show in quietness.
I'm so cold,
well, there is
I'm freezing right now.
Yeah, but Hassan, you are now cryogenically preserved and you won't age a single day.
You look so young.
He does. Happy birthday to Ollie Mammon. Thank you all over the world from watching. Hassan, once again, our thanks to you. This is the ABC of CBD. You're listening to Men's Radio Station, same time next week.